What was that? Okay, okay, no. This can't be happening. This can't be real. Okay. It can read my mind, and it can take that shape. So just don't think about anything, okay? I just no thoughts. All right. Oh God. Oh God. Okay. No thoughts. No thoughts. No thoughts. Oh no. This can't be happening. It was just for a second.
My name is Teddy Ruxpin.
Oh. Okay. Maybe it's gonna be okay.
Can you and I be friends?
No. What's up, everyone? How you doing? Welcome to VHS on Tape. My name is Keith, and on this channel I do movie reviews for horror movies that came out in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. If that sounds like something you might enjoy, hit that subscribe button. Also click the bell icon. That way you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Man, that was a big one. Man, I don't know about you guys, but I have not been sleeping great lately. So I figured it'd be a good time to take a look at Shadowzone. You guys down? Alright, well, let's check it out. Shadowzone came out on January 12th, 1990, and comes in at 1 hour and 28 minutes. It was written and directed by J.S. Cardone. Some of his other films that he has directed include The Scarehole. No, I mean, it's not what you think. It's porn. I'm kidding. And 8mm too, so some really top-notch stuff. It was released by Full Moon Entertainment, and if you're not familiar with Full Moon, you'll get to know them quite well by watching my channel, because they have released 173 titles, and I'll be reviewing more than a couple of them. Full Moon movies really are a crapshoot. Some are pretty decent, like Puppet Master, and some are just terrible, like the Evil Bong movies. That's right, movies, with an S. I mean, it kind of depends on which decade the movie came out. Pretty much anything after 2000 is hot garbage. Shadowzone is about a government sleep experiment called Shadowzone, where by using test subjects, they inadvertently make contact with another dimension. The movie starts off with us meeting NASA Captain Hickok, played by David Beecroft. He did a bit of TV work in the 80s and 90s, including Falcon Crest and Melrose Place. He is picked up by Shivers. Shivers is played by Frederick Flynn. He is in several other movies directed by Cardone, including 8mm too. Here we find out that Hickok is there because of a research-related death. We find out that the research is taking place at an abandoned underground military site. Now, notice how Hickok doesn't push the elevator button even though it's right in front of him? That's a total power move right there. Next we meet Dr. Erhard, played by Louise Fletcher. You might recognize her from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. She played Nurse Ratched. And I have to say, I really like Erhard. She's really laid back, you know? I mean, I feel like if she saw you getting attacked, she'd probably just sit back and drink a Coke. The three of them head down to the kitchen, and now they never come out and say this, but I think Shivers has that tape on his glasses lens because he's trying to start a trend. You know, like Nelly did back in the day. And then we meet Cutter, played by Lou Leonard. She did 10 episodes of Jake and the Fat Man, amongst other things. Here we learn that Cutter has been having a problem with rats. Whew, man, talk about a hostile work environment. Now, I can't help but notice that Hickok is wearing a name tag, and that doesn't really seem like standard issue NASA to me. But I'm not sure though, because I had to turn down that NASA job to start this channel. But I'm pretty sure I've got at least one person from NASA watching my videos. Hey, is it normal to wear name tags working for NASA? Here we meet Dr. Kidwell, played by Sean Weatherly. Her most notable role was probably Jill Riley from Baywatch. You remember. She was the most experienced female lifeguard, and she ended up dying from a blood embolism caused by a shark attack. We find out that at the beginning of the research, they used to use animals. Now they've moved on to humans, but Kidwell still takes care of the animals. The monkey's name is Bingo, by the way. They show Hickok the body of the subject who died, where he's really opened up to Kidwell. And this may not be the most sterile environment. Kidwell and Earhart tell Hickok that there's absolutely no evidence that the experiment caused the guy's death. It was just natural. Next, we meet Wiley, played by Miguel Nunez Jr. Now, he's been in a lot of things, but if you're into horror movies, you probably recognize him from The Return of the Living Dead. Wiley is the computer guy for the base, and he's also a pretty likable character. I should also point out that there is a bit of full frontal nudity in this movie. Now, I'm definitely not complaining, I just thought I should mention it. And I know there's going to be some people out there who say, oh, sure, there's female full frontal nudity, not male. Well, that's typical. Well, don't worry. The male test subject in this movie totally hangs dong. It's very Thundergun. Then we meet the person in charge, Dr. Van Fleet, played by the man, the myth, the legend, James Hong. You have probably seen him in a lot of things because he has 439 acting credits on his IMDb, going as far back as 1954. And he's actually still acting at the age of 91. In fact, he has 3 projects in post-production this year. I gotta say for me though, his most notable role was as David Lopan in Big Trouble in Little China. It's one of my top 5 favorite movies all time. If you haven't seen it, you seriously need to check it out. Dr. Van Fleet explains that the subjects are in a very, very deep state of sleep because their brain stems have been electronically severed. And not to worry though, because it is reversible. He also says that there was no way that the research technique could be responsible for the one guy's death. Hickok asks to see the computer readouts, and we get our first glimpse that the staff isn't quite being completely honest with what's been going on there.
You really think it's a good idea giving them access to printouts?
Van Fleet agrees to let him see the readouts, but it's just so he doesn't seem suspicious by saying no. Shivers then shows Hickok that the staff has been up to some pretty unethical things. Oh my god, Hickok! Oh man, you need to get out of there before they get you too! Run! Oh, whew, it was just a dream! I'm pretty sure they added that scene just to get some more gore into the movie. The next day, Hickok asks them to run the same test that they ran when the other guy died. They initially make excuses that they can't, but after Hickok threatens them with defunding the project, they agree and start the test on the male patient. Kidwell points out that how the first death was an accident, but if they do it again now, it would be murder. And at one point, they do a cool effect with the veins in the guy's face, and that's the point when contact is unknowingly made with the being, John Doe. But the rest of the test goes off without a hitch. Ah, well, shit. Never mind. I do have to say, though, that the blood spraying out in that little spot on the guy's face, that got me more than the whole head exploding. It was nicely done. You could almost feel it. Their systems get taken over, and the transformer blows, and they realize that they need to get the female subject out of there and on battery backup. While in there, Wiley and Earhart see another being in the test room on the thermal camera. Van Fleet tries to make contact with it, but can't see it even though it's right in front of them until it's too late. And this is where the movie really kind of fails. The special effects. Just look at that. This movie isn't that bad as far as sci-fi B-movies go. The acting isn't bad. They just really dropped the ball on the creatures or the beings special effects. It definitely takes you out of the moment, and it's kind of hard to take it seriously. Dr. Earhart explains that when in a deep enough sleep, the brain can actually make contact with a parallel dimension, and that's what happened. Wiley calls them back and explains that the being is gone and that it can apparently change its form at will. They realize that they need to get power back on, and Hickok and Wiley go to fix the transformer, and Shivers and Kidwell go to get the supplies, and Cutter. On the way to the kitchen, Kidwell decides to go check on the monkey, Bingo, who's gotten out of his cage, and asks Shivers to go and look as well, separately. Cutter is about to leave with supplies when she catches another rat, and then this happens. Again, not the best effects. Kidwell then finds Bingo the monkey and lets Shivers know that he can stop looking. Shivers tells her that he also found Bingo, and then we see the last of Kidwell. After this, Shivers just loses his shit and runs around screaming until deciding to stand his ground in the middle of a hallway. Now, if it were me, I would have probably chosen a corner. That way my back was up against something and I'd have better coverage. And I do have to say, they did a good job with the lighting in this scene, and actually pretty much for the whole movie. You know, it really does a good job of setting the tone. Eventually, a drop of water hits Shiver's hand and sets him off. And then we see him shoot his shotgun 17 times without reloading. Man, the government has the coolest weapons. Now, we don't actually see what kills Shivers, but Hickok and Wiley find what's left of him. And here they also do something pretty effective. You know, when they're looking down the hallway that Shivers' puddle was in, it's dark on the other end, and you can't see anything down there, but Hickok tells Wiley, run. You know, I always think it's cool when movies put that kind of thing in them. You know, you can't see anything, but you just know it's there. One of the more famous examples would probably be from Friday the 13th Part 2 towards the end, when the power goes out and Alice tells Paul there's somebody in there with them. Next, Hickok and Wiley are running away when they get separated by the elevator doors. And again, we don't actually see what happens to him, but we know he doesn't make it, unless he's got a really bad case of tuberculosis. Hickok makes his way back to Earhart, and this is when we find out that John Doe can change his appearance to match whatever you're thinking about.
We shape it.
Next, John Doe fixes the transformer and tells them that it needs to go back home because it's dying in our dimension. Hickok is reluctant to help it, but Earhart convinces him that if they don't, they're going to die anyways. I actually really like this part. Earhart tells Hickok that if the beam does anything funny, she'll let him know. Now, he doesn't say anything, you know, he just pauses until finally she promises.
I promise.
And I like it because with the way she's been acting about John Doe, I was thinking the same thing as Hickok after she said that. They get the female test subject set up and get the portal to the other dimension opened up. And now, there's a little bit of continuity issue here for me. In the beginning, when the beam came into our dimension initially, there wasn't a light show. I mean, nobody even knew it was there. But now when it's leaving, it's a completely different situation. Here we get to see the being in what is presumably its natural state, which is pretty disappointing. Again, the effect's not great. Earhart is so fascinated that she goes into the other dimension to see what it's like. She comes back and exclaims that there are thousands of them before she's killed. You know, it just goes to prove not all locals support tourism. And I mean, this is just a weak attempt at a monster. Just terrible. John Doe pulls Earhart into the portal and then disappears. The female test subject wakes up and asks what happened, and Hickok simply says,
"It's a long story."
And now for some fun facts. The original title for this movie was Dream Invaders. Teddy Ruxpin was the best-selling toy of 1985 and 1986. On average, it takes most people between 10 and 20 minutes to fall asleep. My sleep is usually pretty terrible, so I'm pretty much always tired. So would I recommend watching Shadowzone?
Well, it depends.
I mean, overall, this isn't a bad movie. Like I said before, the worst part about this movie is the Beans' special effects. And I mean, it can also be a little slow at sometimes too, but it's not bad for a B movie. If you do want to check it out, I'll put a link in the description. What'd you guys think? Have you seen Shadowzone? Did you like it? Let me know in the comments. In my last review, I looked at Ice Cream Man, and I'll link that up in case you want to treat yourself and give that a watch. You see what I did there? Well, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.